ViacomCBS, ticker symbol VIAC, sports, streaming, movie studio, movies, television, TV production, children's television, book publisher, and global conglomerate. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chase Vickers and welcome to the MoonShot Money channel. We've got something really good for you today. Talk about a strong value play that's on sale. ViacomCBS is a money-growing beast, and we're going to tell you all about it right here, right now. Are you ready? Let's go. I know, you think you know, CBS, the television station, but there's so much more here to understand. And I'm really pumped to tell you about it today. Before we roll here, the MoonShot Money team is not a financial advisory team. This is great information, but we just call it educational in scope. Please do your own due diligence before you invest. Okay, where do we start? Let's just define ViacomCBS for starters. ViacomCBS is the recombination of CBS and Viacom that has created a media conglomerate operating around the world. CBS television assets include the CBS television network and 28 local TV stations. The company also owns Showtime and Simon & Schuster. Viacom owns several leading cable network properties including Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Comedy Central, VH1, CMT, and Paramount. This is exciting from an investor's perspective. Viacom has built several online properties on the strength of all their brands. Viacom's Paramount Pictures produces original motion pictures and owns a library of 2,500 films, including the Mission Impossible and Transformers series. ViacomCBS has the largest share of the U.S. television audience and owns one of the most important and extensive libraries of TV and film titles. ViacomCBS is one of the largest content producers and providers in the world. Never forget, in the red-hot streaming world, content is king. Plus, ViacomCBS has the ability and flexibility to monetize all their content in a whole host of ways, through platforms that they own as well as third-party platforms. Did you know CBS will conclude the broadcast season as America's most watched network for the 12th consecutive year? And add to that, CBS remains #1 in daytime and late night. On the streaming front, ViacomCBS has 3 streaming strategies. First, Viacom owns Showtime, which operates as part of a cable bundle and also a streaming service. Showtime shows are advertised in apps like Prime Video, and the Showtime app is available on Roku, Apple, PlayStation, and has an add-on to Hulu. The second streaming strategy for Viacom is CBS All Access. It just reached 13.5 million subscribers recently, and it's growing. We think Viacom might have some of the best content among all the competition, but the love on Wall Street does not reflect that. That's why this is such an opportunity for investors. It just feels like the marketing and branding need an overhaul. Management is getting serious though about streaming and planning to make a big move later this year to revamp CBS All Access. The third and final streaming strategy is Pluto TV. Pluto TV is a free streaming app which acts as an alternative to cable. Monthly active users are 20 million plus, and it's easily outpacing the CBS All Access subscriber count. Pluto TV boasts 250 plus free channels and thousands of on-demand movies and TV titles. Management is projecting 30 million monthly active users on Pluto TV by the end of the year, and the service's partnership with Verizon should continue to push it into the mainstream. That's certainly not keeping pace with Disney Plus subscriber growth, but it's not too shabby either. We see Viacom being second only to Disney in its content, and merger between Viacom and CBS was ultimately designed to create a content powerhouse, and it has. Paramount has 3,600 plus movies in its library, and the company's 49% ownership stake in Miramax gives it access to an additional 700 movies, for a total of over 4,300 movie titles. That's a ton of movie content. On top of that, Nickelodeon has been the #1 ad-supported cable network for 24 consecutive years. As we've already said, ViacomCBS also owns popular TV channels like MTV, VH1, and BET. The company's Paramount TV division has produced some really popular content for other streaming companies. They produced Jack Ryan for Amazon, 13 Reasons Why for Netflix, and Defending Jacob for Apple. I think you can now begin to see why this stock's valuation doesn't do Viacom's content library justice, not to mention all their other assets like book publisher Simon Schuster. We don't believe investors actually know what's going on here. Maybe an effective rebranding for CBS All Access to name a much younger and cooler like Watcher or maybe Seesaw. You heard it here first. This will help them become much more successful as a competitor to Netflix and Disney+. Now, let's talk sports for a few minutes, one of my favorite subjects. With the pandemic, as you all know too well, sports has been put on hold, and so has CBS's broadcasts of them. That's lost advertising revenue big time. One reason for the current on-sale price for ViacomCBS. But sports will return, and with a very loud boom. Let's talk now. The NFL is hands down the most popular watched sport. Sundays wouldn't be the same without NFL on CBS. CBS Sports broadcasts NFL games on Thursday nights as well. Talk about an advertising juggernaut. Each year, the NFL Super Bowl is the most watched television broadcast, reaching approximately 100 million viewers. The 2021 game will be the 5th Super Bowl hosted by Tampa, Florida area, and the 3rd Super Bowl held at Raymond James Stadium. The game will be televised nationally by, you guessed it, CBS. The Super Bowl 55 is scheduled for February 7th, 2021, advertising gold. The cost of a 30-second commercial spot for Super Bowl 54 was about $5.6 million. The largest and most powerful college football conference in the country is the Southeastern Conference, or the SEC. It doesn't get much more exciting on Saturdays in the fall than watching these powerhouses battle it out in the South: Tennessee, Florida, LSU, and Alabama. Guess who has the biggest SEC game of the week? CBS Sports. And then there's everyone's favorite golf tournament, the Masters. CBS has broadcast the Masters every year since 1956. There's nothing like watching Sunday's final round at the Masters. Can't you just hear that smooth voice of Jim Nantz?
From the Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia, CBS Sports presents The Masters.
Basketball. Who doesn't love the NCAA March Madness National Basketball Tournament? It's an advertising bonanza for CBS Sports. Television viewers are locking in for an entire month of March every year to see who's going to be crowned champions. March Madness is the single most exciting sporting event of the year. Just a quick look at their financials now. Asset rich, revenue and content rich, ViacomCBS has a market cap of only $15.4 billion. Extremely low compared to other companies that have little to no revenue and very few assets. Looking at ViacomCBS market capitalization, it would be very easy to mistake the size of the company's operations. At $15.4 billion, it's difficult to put into perspective how cheap ViacomCBS is considering the breadth of its iconic brands. Consider this: Nikola, ticker symbol NKLA, a company with effectively no revenue, is a larger market cap today than Viacom. It's a crazy market to operate in today, but we see plenty of value for investors willing to look and ignore the noise.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
The float is 548 million shares according to Yahoo Finance. ViacomCBS pays almost a 4% quarterly dividend, which is the proverbial cherry on top. The PE ratio is 9.7 as of this filming, again displaying how undervalued the company actually is. The current price to book ratio is 1.08, so you're buying the stock for almost book value. That's crazy. For the MoonShot Money team, ViacomCBS is a screaming buy. We hope you found this video interesting and informative, and maybe ViacomCBS is something to consider adding to your portfolio. Drop us a like and subscribe before you go. Leave us a comment. We really enjoyed the discussion. And remember, if you're not interested in your money, someone else is. We'll see you next time.